The scent of wood smoke lingers as elders turned crumbs into feasts, finding magic in lean years. What were their secrets? Sizzling pans transformed simple scraps into cherished flavors now lost to time. These bites nourished more than just hungry bellies. Wax paper rustles over 25 humble recipes that shielded families through the Great Depression. They were silent, odd-tasting kitchen heroes. Listen to a dusty cookbook opening to 25 treasures your kitchen misses. Come sit and journey to a simpler time, snapping cold slices to find the bologna sandwich the undisputed king of humble American lunchboxes. It was a true working-class heartbeat. Tangy yellow mustard on soft white bread fueled 20th century builders and school kids alike. It was a constant in changing times. In the 1930s, this became the poor man's steak when real beef was a dream. It brought quiet luxury. Watch a pink slice stretch across crust, creating a beautiful illusion of a full plate. A victory against the hardships. Savory aromas rise as meat curls in a hot pan forming a cup for creamy mayonnaise. Heat made memories warm. It wasn't about expensive spices, but a mother's gentle touch. These tiny gestures made every bite taste like a promise. Hear the knife scoring edges or the crunch of meat fried like a dark jewel. Everyone had a secret way. This was a steady anchor in stormy seas. Subscribe to join our journey. Lunch mattered more than any fancy fleeting treat. The scent of yeast and rich cream tells a story of resilience. This was a quiet meal for quiet times. Behold a ribbon of gold between white clouds, a testament to surviving when the pantry was bare. It was a brave statement. In dim kitchen light, a single plate of this pairing often served as a full dinner. It was enough because it had to be. Notice how butter glides like silk, softened to kiss the bread without breaking it. The magic was in these quiet details. Taste the sharp sparkle of salt or the warmth of toast melting the gold. It was the flavor of home struggling. Listen for school bells, where children unwrapped these modest gifts during the war. They were small tokens of safety and love. See whimsical stars cut by tired hands turning a plain slice into a magical treat. Even butter could be artful. Grace lives in the humblest bite served with love. Does this spark a memory? Tell us in the comments below. Breathe in tropical sweetness, meeting cool, creamy southern staples. This curious dance of flavors belongs to a long-forgotten simpler era. Behind the creak of southern screen doors, this odd pair provided a lifeline. It was a sweet rebellion against biting poverty. Feel the heavy richness and soft texture providing strength for another long day. It balanced what was cheap and good. Watch a mother's knife glide through fruit, laying golden planks across bread. Every movement was a deliberate act of family care. Taste velvet creaminess, heightening fruit sugars, perhaps with a dash of honey. It was a simple luxury that felt truly grand. Even the King Elvis Presley loved adding thick peanut butter to this classic. It was a flavor fit for music royalty. Experience the zesty zip clashing and melting into a soft, sugary embrace. It was a symphony that defied its modest cost. Sweet and sour memories linger in the heart. Like this video, if you feel that nostalgia too, it never truly fades away. A stinging aroma fills the air with the onion sandwich, a bite that sounds like a dare. It fueled city builders. Hear the crisp snap of an affordable bulb that stayed fresh in the cellar. It gave flavor to a gray world. Dip translucent, paper-thin rings into icy water to tame their fiery spirit. Patient preparation turned a harsh root into something gentle. Feel the soft cloth drying slices before they nestle into butter with sharp vinegar. It made the simple feel quite extraordinary. A final dusting of salt and pepper completes this modest creation. It hits the palate with an unexpected and bold intensity. Imagine metal pails clinking in dark mines where pungent scents guarded a worker's lunch. It was a meal for tough men. Feel warmth return as the onion's ancient secrets stand guard against winter chills. It was food medicine and hope all once. What was once a desperate choice eventually became a favorite craving. Do you have a family recipe like this to share? The sticky pop of a jar brings us to a protein solution once born of thrift. It was never just tradition. Roasted nut scents filled pages in 1901, becoming a pillar of strength. It was a gift of energy. See the ruby glow of preserves beside a jar of hearty protein. It was the taste of summer, saved for winter. Inside soldiers' canvas bags, this pairing became a taste of home. They carried the combination back to every American kitchen. Experience the marriage of salt and sugar, providing everything a body needs. It was a small, edible miracle of pure joy. Watch nut butter spread to the very edge while a jewel-toned heart waits. Every single jar was stretched to the end. Breathe in the aroma of northern grapes or southern strawberries. Every region added its own local soul to the simple mix. These jars reflected fruits gathered by hand when the world outside felt dark. They are a sweet legacy from our ancestors. The bright red of a single splash against a pale slice reveals a final defense. It was making something from nothing. Sharp vinegar scents filled kitchens. This last resort became a tiny spark of joy for little children. Plain bread cradling a thin crimson layer. This simple snack turned a near-empty pantry into a small, hopeful triumph. That red bottle offered a taste of summer sun when fresh garden greens were just a distant dream. A warm, golden crunch and a secret dusting of sugar made a meager snack feel like a real treat. It was a poor man's dessert, a sticky sweetness that found its way onto humble school lunch trays. Survivors of the 1930s never forgot that flavor carrying memories of that red spread deep into adulthood. Success returned, yet this bite remains. Please subscribe for more stories of our resilient shared past. Heavy, savory fat scents on cold mornings mark the most basic, honest meal a family ever shared. Creamy white gold on bread kept the winter chill away when the kitchen cupboards were finally bare. In Appalachian hills, this fuel gave folks strength for another long, hard day. A dash of salt or a tiny pinch of sugar changed everything, making hard lives feel softer. This rich, silky taste of home-rendered fat was a luxury store-bought tubs could never hope to match. On rare, golden Sunday mornings, a dark drizzle of molasses turned a plain slice into a feast. It was the fuel of working men, a heavy, quiet energy that built the foundations of country. Here, the watery snap of a garden vegetable. Before fancy teas, this was a laborer's cool relief. Green slices offered a drink in solid form when expensive meats were far beyond a worker's reach. Families gathered backyard harvests, layering them with butter and salt to celebrate the sweltering, humid July heat. That icy, garden, fresh crunch was a godsend for farmers sweating under the relentless glare of sun. A splash of vinegar or dill added a zing that lifted spirits far beyond mere physical hunger. It was a taste of life itself, a green oasis in a world of heavy, dusty struggle. Even with empty wallets, a garden slice proved beauty could still be found in the simple dirt. Sun-warmed vines and the heavy weight of ripe fruit signaled the start of a true summer. Thick ruby rounds, seasoned with salt, became precious gifts after months of gray winter, long scarcity, and longing. Costing only garden, sweat Southerners added creamy mayonnaise to make this snack truly legendary. Whether with butter or cream, the sole was a fruit still holding the heat of afternoon. Red juices bleeding into bread created a beautiful dripping mess of pure, unadulterated American sunshine. Folks ate this daily, savoring every bite until the first autumn frost took the vines away. Waiting for first ripe tomatoes became a sacred ritual shared across every small, dusty country town. It was a feast born of lean times. Like and comment for more childhood memories. Nutty roasted peanut aromas meet the sharp vinegar tang of a crisp pickle in perfect dance. Clever cooks found the bright acidic snap of pickles could slice through a heavy, sticky mouthful. Salty richness found its match in a green dill spear, though sweet slices added surprising winks. Smooth velvet spread against the loud, wet crunch of home-canned pickles made every bite an adventure. This quirky pairing brightened dull diets, staying a lunchtime favorite well into the 1950s. In country kitchens with lined shelves, these two staples were reliable heroes of many hungry afternoons. Kids who grew up on these odd combinations never let the taste go. This tangy bite links back to simpler times. Subscribe for more food history. Metallic clicks of tins opening brought salty sea breezes into landlocked kitchens, changing eating forever. Flaked fish folded into creamy mayonnaise with celery crunch turned one small can into meals. During the Great War, choosing the sea over the butcher was serving the country from kitchens. While men were away, wives added chopped eggs and relish to make fish go further. Under soft light, in church basements, these sandwiches fed the hungry masses with very little coin. It was the taste of neighborhoods holding together, proving shared meals weather the hardest storm. A legacy of making enough from very little, a memory still lingering in salty air. Savory sizzles in 1937 brought salty, meaty hope to families struggling through those hard rationing years. Sizzling in a pan until edges curl gold Spam became the blue-collar heart of 1942 military rations. Soldiers devoured tons of these tins, carrying that salty craving home to be slathered in tangy mustard or cream. This modest sandwich soon outgrew its survival roots. In the islands of Hawaii, locals welcomed it warmly. Living through occupation birthed unique recipes that remain beloved today. Please subscribe to see more stories. These emergency meals became icons of grit, reminding us of the quiet strength found in times of sacrifice. Imagine the sharp, briny scent of sardines and rich eggs. When protein was vital for heavy toil, this pairing delivered maximum energy from the very simplest of ingredients. Canned silver fish mashed with soft yolks and vinegar created a filling rich in protein and omega-3. Immigrant families particularly loved this. They brought European traditions of preservation into lunch pails for laborers deep within dark, dusty coal mines. These small snacks provided sustained power for long shifts. Some added onion or pickles. This sandwich stands as wisdom born of poverty, combining proteins instinctively before science ever explained why. If you remember these old school flavors, please hit like and tell us your favorite family recipe below. Listen to that lone strip of bacon pop and crackle. Its smoky grease, crumbles made an entire meal feel royal. During years of meat limits, crumbling one crispy slice. This smart blend allowed families to enjoy a savory feast while stretching their tiny meat allowance. Salt and smoke danced with nuttiness, offering a rich comfort that felt far more decadent than its price. A dash of honey turned this savory bite into a sweet memory of creative kitchen magic. This simple meal demonstrates how even a single strip of meat could transform a basic dinner into something. It was a masterpiece of creativity. Doesn't that make you wonder what else we've forgotten how to cook? Think of the bite of raw onion, softened by cool, silky mayonnaise. It was a bold flavor, Sharp onions were tamed by creamy spread to provide a punchy lunch when other ingredients were out of reach. Rinsing white slices in cold water took away the sting before they were tucked between thick layers. Mill workers relied on this cheap fuel to survive back-breaking shifts in the textile factories and manufacturing plants. This humble snack became the soul of the Southern mills and Midwestern. A dash of pepper was the only luxury needed for this functional staple of the hard-working working class. This was pragmatic food for those who prioritize getting through the day over chasing the latest culinary trends. Picture soft white bread soaking up warm, sweetened milk. This was the ultimate gentle comfort. Slices dipped in milk and dusted with sugar became a meal of last resort that somehow felt special. This sweet, pillowy dish offered a moment of softness for those with almost nothing left in the pantry. During the hard times, parents served these as a little reward for little ones who missed sweets. A dusting of spice made it feel like a festive cake found among bare pantry shelves. These simple meals appear in old memoirs. Don't forget to comment if you remember them, too. Families turned the most basic scraps into experiences of safety and warmth during the very bleakest decades. Consider the scent of a roast chicken, meant to feed a whole house for days. That precious bird was stretched to the very limit to ensure everyone had a meal through the week. After the feast and the soup, the tiny bits left over were minced for lunch. Mothers in the 1930s mixed in mayo to make the protein go a long way for everyone. They added chopped fruit or eggs to swell the mixture until it fed every hungry mouth. The finer the meat was shredded, the more people could share in that satisfying, savory taste. At community gatherings, crusts were trimmed away to turn humble leftovers into fancy pointed tea snacks. This was a show of deep respect for food, making sure not a bit was lost. Every fragment was a gift of resourcefulness that kept families whole and fed during the wars. When real poultry was a luxury, clever hands made a substitute out of much cheaper things. They used ground sausage or bologna and pantry crumbs to satisfy the hunger for home, savory and creamy. This seasoned spread perfectly mirrored the comforting taste and crunch of a classic Sunday chicken salad. Amidst the clatter of wartime halls, these humble bites offered a taste of home when meat became a luxury. One bite revealed a symphony of garden sage and celery, while golden dye fooled the eyes into seeing holiday riches. That warm, buttery hue hid a secret of mashed beans, a clever trick turning simple crops into a hearty feast. This pretend chicken meal was a love letter from cooks who refused to let hardship dampen the joy of eating. They turned nothing into something special. Now, let us peel back the wax paper on a true classic ham and cheese. Before, it was an everyday staple. That salty tang of pink ham and cheese was a prize won through careful budgeting. Imagine slices cut so thin they were translucent, stretched across fresh bread so every child at the table felt full. During the lean 1930s, a mother's hands made one lonely slice of ham feed a whole house with hope. With cool mayo and garden greens, these bites ensured bodies stayed strong when family pockets were nearly empty. Families would save every golden cheese scrap, melting them into a rich sauce that felt far more indulgent than slices. This pairing was more than a snack. It was a survival map drawn in protein, keeping spirits high through darkness. If you enjoy these food memories, please like this video. Next, let us recall the earthy scent of chicken livers. In an era where nothing was wasted, these humble livers were transformed into a powerhouse of strength for just pennies. Sautéed with sweet onions and whipped with mayo, the result was a deep, silky filling like a rustic homemade pâté. Out on quiet farmsteads, families honored their birds by turning every last piece into a nourishing, heartwarming midday meal. A bit of zesty relish or crumbled egg added bright pops of flavor to this dark spread fueling a nation. Little ones opened tin pails to find this heavy, earthy fuel, giving them energy to play and learn all afternoon. Long before sustainability was a trend, our grandparents practiced it out of deep respect for the land and its gifts. It was a way of life, not a fad. But listen for the sharp, salty aroma of anchovy paste calls next. Just a tiny squeeze of that silver tube released a bold ocean salt tang that made simple bread taste like luxury. Smeared thin over yellow butter and topped with a cool egg, it was an explosion of savory flavor waking the senses. These healthy, salty bites brought sun-drenched Mediterranean flavors to the bustling, crowded streets of new American cities. With every pungent bite, families felt the warmth of old homes finding comfort in a taste that lingered long after. A splash of lemon or sharp onion cut through the salt, proving that even a tiny bit of flavor goes far. It taught us that richness is not about how much you have, but how deeply you taste what is there. Don't forget to subscribe for more history. Now, smell the warm spice of curry meeting the oily richness of sardines. This unusual, vibrant creation was the star of mid-century kitchens, bringing a touch of the world to the lunch table. After the big war, little tin cans of sardines were everywhere, waiting to be mashed into a soft, savory filling. Hot curry powder meets cool mayo and zesty lemon juice to wake up every single one of your taste buds. Piled high on pillowy bread, this mix offers a wonderful dance of creamy, crunchy, and spicy notes in every bite. Add a cool, crisp cucumber slice for that satisfying snap that balances the rich spiced fish in a perfect way. Across the sea, friends might add a sweet apple crunch or raisins to turn this snack into something truly magical. At home, we often added a salty caper before moving on to the legendary golden fried Monte Cristo. It was the mid-1900s when this decadent golden treasure first began to steal hearts across the bright American landscape. Picture a ham and cheese sandwich soaked in beaten eggs, then sizzled in a pan until it turns perfect gold. A distant cousin to the fancy French croque, this dish lived in two worlds, half salty comfort, half sweet dream. Dusted with a snow-white layer of sugar and dipped in amber maple syrup, it was the ultimate rainy afternoon treat. Many fell in love with it under the twinkling lights of Disneyland's Blue Bayou, where fried scents filled the air. Let us drift back to the 1950s, hearing the click of a metal lunchbox, revealing a speckled, savory favorite. This pink marbled meat was dotted with briny olives, offering a salty pop of flavor that everyone grew to love. Smeared with sharp mustard or cool mayo, these slices sat against fresh lettuce, creating a simple melody of classic flavors. Wrapped in wax paper for Sunny Park picnics, this sandwich was the reliable companion of 1,000 busy summer afternoons. Eaten with a crunchy chip or sour pickle, it reminds us how clever foods helped build our shared midday traditions. If you loved this trip, please leave a comment. These quick, tasty bites truly defined the flavor of American childhood. Fresh garden greens eventually silenced the heavy hum of the deli slicer as health-conscious eating habits took hold. Salty, pimento-studded olive loaf remains a fragrant, nostalgic reminder of those simpler times. Sizzling beef and tangy tomato sauce simmered together, creating the legendary, messy mid-century staple called the Sloppy Joe. Splashed with spicy Worcestershire and served on soft buns, this messy legend hides secrets about its true home. Some whisper of a 1917 Havana bar, while others swear it was born in breezy Sioux City, Iowa. By the 1930s and 40s, the name was on every tongue, becoming a beloved staple across America. These bites are like edible time capsules holding the humble flavors of the mid-20th century within their layers. Imagine soft pasta cushions tucked into bread, a whimsical lunch turning classic Italian dinners into something portable. This oddity bloomed when canned convenience met hunger, proving that a little simple creativity goes far. Since the 1930s, Chef Boyardee has let us stack meat-filled pillows high between two slices of bread. Listen to the golden crunch of toasted bread, meeting the gooey warm center of a perfectly grilled sandwich. Known to some as an Italian sloppy Joe, it's a hearty hero that feels like a hug. It became a legend for hungry college kids, like this video, if you remember those late-night budget meals. The sweet, buttery scent of warm corn reminds us of a time when comfort was found in handheld treats. That velvety gold spread over thick bread offered a gentle sweetness that defined those cozy, old-fashioned kitchens. When pantries were thin, mothers generously spread every drop to ensure no one ever went to bed feeling hungry. There was quiet dignity in that homemade simplicity, a flavor that spoke of love more than ingredients. Today, it remains a soft, sugary escape for anyone seeking a timeless piece of classic American soul food. Sizzling in a pan and dusted with sugar, this sandwich carries the elegant mystery of a bygone era. Born in the mid-20th century, it's a decadent dance of batter-dipped ham and cheese fried to perfect gold. Borrowing from French roots, this dish balances savory salt with a sweet whisper, creating a truly sophisticated midday delight. Drenched in syrup and sugar, its fame grew when it started appearing on legendary menus under the bright lights. Disneyland's Blue Bayou made it iconic. Comment below if you love Disney food as much as we do. Mid-century America saw comfort take the form of firm, cheesy slices layered with savory ham in a clever loaf. Tangy mustard meets creamy pasta pillows between two slices, creating a whimsical stack that feels like a playground lunch feast. Making its grand debut in the 1950s, this unique creation added a splash of color to the American pantry. Imagine families sharing laughter over crunchy pickles, and this peculiar delight making memories around the dinner table every night. It offered a clever way to enjoy a favorite flavor, while adding a salty crunch that satisfied every craving. This quick bite wrapped in nostalgia became a lunchbox favorite, blending old-fashioned love with the speed of life. The sharp kick of spiced meat first gained fame long ago, leaving an enduring mark on the American picnic. Finely ground and blended with hot sauce and mustard, the meat transformed into a peppery spread with intense depth. That bold tingle on the tongue is why we call it deviled a spicy tradition from the 18th century. In 1822, Boston William Underwood began a journey that would put a little heat into every kitchen cupboard. By 1868, their Red Devil logo promised a long shelf life and a flavor that never truly faded away. Holding our oldest trademark, this recipe simply asks us to grind meat into a savory, timeless base, swirl in some creamy mayo, and top with crisp lettuce for a bite that feels like a cool breeze. For the brave, the rich salt and tender texture of this unique deli classic offers an adventurous flavor journey. These distinctive slices carry a silky feel and bold taste missing from modern grocery store aisles. Seasoned in a steaming broth and layered high, it's a meal crafted with a kind of forgotten patience. It reminds us of an era when resourcefulness turned every humble ingredient into a truly memorable feast. Though the echoes of busy delis are quieter now, this sandwich stands as a testament to history. It shows how bold flavors once shaped our tables, proving creativity has always been the kitchen's heart. For those who remember soft chairs and mid-century meals, it's a simple joy that still warms the soul. Each lingering taste offers a window into the heritage that built the food traditions we love. This flavor still sparks curiosity. Subscribe for more American food stories. Inhale the savory steam. Discover the forgotten tongue sandwich.